This is Nutrition Talk Tuesday, and tonight we don't have a specific topic. We're gonna go open discussion. We're gonna have live Q&A. Hopefully, I have all the answers. If I don't, we're gonna get the answers together, okay, y'all? And what we have started out with discussing what we call smart choices, and I was asking everybody, when I say smart choices, what do you think of? So some of the things that was thrown out was vegetables, fruits, proteins, not having sugary things in the house. So my second question was, okay, let's say you're not in the house. You're out and about. You had to go run errands all day. You thought you would already be back at home. Or you're like me. You went to the DMV for a 10:30 appointment and you didn't get out till almost 1 o'clock. So you didn't plan because you didn't think you was gonna be in there that long. What's a smart choice? What could you do? So what do you think of smart choices when I say that?
Okay, so I'm gonna be all the way transparent. In those situations, I don't make the best choices, but I'm being more mindful, and
Mm-hmm.
Wawa has
Mm-hmm.
been my go-to.
Gotcha. They have
They
some
got,
smart choices.
yes, they have these salads, and they have these roasted chicken sandwiches that has been my go-to here
Mm-hmm.
lately. Here lately, they have been my go-to,
Uh-huh.
because life do have us out and going in and about, and like them little cousins of yours, their choice would be somewhere like Wendy's or some. I'm like, man, I can drop y'all by Wendy's, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go up the street to the Wawa
Mm-hmm.
and get, because I don't want to. Although a double stack with no onions, ooh, that's a good sandwich to me. It used to be,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't had one probably since April.
Okay. Okay.
So, so
So you've been making smart choices. You said, let me
I
pass on the
think
Wendy's guy.
that I'm passing on the Wendy's and I'm making it up the street to the Wawa, trying to
Mm-hmm.
get either a salad or that roasted chicken sandwich.
Okay. That's
So
good.
that's one of, although I will tell you that Wawa $2 iced coffee, because although I do that one in a good way too, that $2 iced coffee has me in a chokehold, but I do the zero sugar.
Okay. Zero sugar. Okay.
I do the one with the zero sugar,
Okay.
the salted caramel zero sugar.
Okay.
So
What are some other smart choices that people are doing when you're out and about?
I try to do, and I agree. I love me some Wendy's and stuff too. I don't know what Wawa is, but that sounds good.
Oh, because that's right.
But
You're in Arizona, right?
right, I was like, is that a
oh,
grocery store or is that a fast
That's
food
like a
joint? I
convenience
don't know.
store, but you
it's
can
like
get
a
food and
Oh,
stuff.
convenience store,
Yeah.
okay,
but
that's
they
good. I
cook.
like to. Okay, I like to do like wraps or like soup or grab like a chili, even though it's over 100 degrees. Or I've been trying to make like smarter choices. Or even if I do get a burger, I'll do like the lettuce
Mm-hmm.
wrap. Maybe just steal a couple of my daughter's fries or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I really don't do the drinks in general. I just drink water or I'll get like an unsweetened tea.
Uh-huh.
So I too try to be more mindful. Sometimes I do indulge, but more recently I am trying to be more mindful. So those are some of the things that I do.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And when she's Marcy, when you said Wendy's, I thought chili, right? Because it's not okay. Did you make it at home? So do you know everything that's in it? Not necessarily. But if that was your only choice and you happen to be at Wendy's and you're like, there's nowhere else to eat, there are ways to find like, okay, what's a better choice? Okay, instead of the devil, let me go ahead and get this chili right here. Maybe even as long as you don't have blood sugar issues, a baked potato, something like that. So that way, that would be a good choice as well. So it's the main thing is looking for healthier or better alternatives, whether we're at home or we're out and about, or like
Well,
even if
salads too.
Yes,
Wendy's
salad.
has some really good salads. Just got to be careful, like with the salad dressings, but the salads are really good.
Yes, and a lot of times if you go to these places, if you go to their website, or even if you're using MyFitPal, you look it up and it'll tell you what the caloric intake is. It'll tell you. You just got to be willing to do a little bit of research, right? And yeah, even if we're on the fly, I'm not above pulling up my phone and looking it up real quick, or going on my FitPal and say, okay, I'm at Wendy's. Let me put in Wendy's, whatever, and find out what would be a better choice. Because sometimes when you look at the calories in that particular item, that's enough for you to say, no, I can get that. I'm because I will have eaten all my calories in one setting. So sometimes just look at that. Another thing, like even if you say you are at like a Wawa or some kind of quick store where you can go in, look for maybe yogurts. Sometimes they have the yogurts and they have like the little fruit cups if you just need something quick, not a full meal. But that's the main thing, is like being conscious of the choices that we make. Because just because, hey, I think iPhone, is that Jess or Kelly, one or the other? Hey Renee, hey Marcia. But yeah, so ladies, those who are just getting on, we're having like an open discussion tonight. I don't have a specific topic. We're just having open discussion, Q&A, and right now we're just talking about smart choices. And yeah, it's easier to make smart choices when you're at home and you have, went grocery shopping, you got all the good stuff in the house, you got rid of all the bad stuff. But what if you're out and about? How do you make good choices when you're out and about? Like I said, today, I was in DMV like all day to get my real ID finally. And 10:30 appointment. So I'm like, we got an appointment. We'll be in and out quick. Needless to say, no, I didn't eat breakfast. All I had was my coffee with my protein in it. And I'm like, by the time we got out, starving. So we went out to lunch, but I'm like, okay, I could easily get this Reuben sandwich that's on this menu and it's going to be so good. But I didn't. I got a salad with chicken in it. It was something different I hadn't tried before. And the dressing was good. I was like, smart choices. So that's what made me think to talk about that tonight. Like, what's a smart choice? Because we can give into the temptation, or we can say, it's a smart choice. And yes, it's easy to make those choices at home when we're cooking the meals, but the reality is we're not going to always be at home. We're not going to always eat at home where we can control everything. So we got to also think, when we're not at home, how can I make choices? Like I said, Marcy, if you're at the Wendy's with the boys and that's all you got, like, okay, you can choose the double with fries and a large drink, or you can say, let me get the small chili and a side salad, or the small chili, or even the large chili, because it's meat and beans, right? Not that bad. And a baked potato. So it's about like, how do I choose? Like, and like I said, you can also look up the caloric intake. A lot of times on these restaurants, they'll have the website and they'll have their nutrition information, or you can just Google nutrition information for whatever places that you are, and that'll help you make a better choice as well. And if you're using the MyFitness app, they have everything in that app. Well, like you can put in certain restaurants and they'll have their most of their menu on there where you can choose from that. Anybody else got something they want to say about that, or add, or questions?
One thing that came up for me, and I need to restock, is you can't keep too much in your car, especially not in Arizona. But the one thing I do like to keep in my car is like maybe some almonds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be good. And then you can just kind of pop a few in your mouth. Because I was thinking, when you said you were at like the DMV and you weren't prepared, and I'm like, oh, if you would have just had, like a handful of almonds or something like that, those kind of always come in handy. So I got to restock on just my regular almonds, just keep some in the car. It'll do the trick. It'll help a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be just enough to keep you from like starving. Because obviously a lot of times when we get in that like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, that's when we make the bad choices. So if we can just have something, and that in itself, Aisha, is a smart choice. So since we're talking about smart choices, the smart choice is to have something in your purse, have something in your car, have something on hand. So if you get caught up in the middle of something, you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking way longer than I thought. Now I'm getting hungry. At least you have that little snack on hand to like hold off the hunger a little bit, right? Sometimes I have, I don't have one with me, but sometimes I have these like, I'm not a big Slim Jim person, but I was in Aldi's a while back and I saw like these meat sticks, but they're like from grass-fed beef or something like that. And they have all natural ingredients, unlike like some of the stuff that's in like, say, a Slim Jim or whatever. And I said, well, let me just try it, see what it tastes like. And I actually enjoy it. So sometimes I'll even have those in my purse. And of course, today I didn't because I was completely unprepared today, of course, right? But yeah, sometimes I'll even have those in my purse. So that way I can just pull out one of those and it's just enough to, hold off the hunger until I can get something better. So even with that, consider that to be a smart choice. And I wanted to share something with y'all because I know a lot of people have asked me about it when I talk about my coffee and what I put in my coffee. This is the product that I actually put, if y'all can see it. It said Jocko Milk. It's a protein shake. It's from grass-fed cows. It has no sugars, keto friendly, no artificial colors. But the sugar, or the sweetener, I should say, is monk fruit. And so that's how I get mine in.
Read the ingredients on it, please.
Say again?
Can you please read the ingredients?
Sure. Filtered water, the Jocko Mark protein blend, which is their custom blend of protein. Let's see what else. It says MTC oil, monk fruit, and potassium citrate, sodium phosphate, and locust bean gum.
I've heard of those things. Gum, I don't know, but I've heard of them.
Right. So is it the best? It may not be, but it's better than some of the other ones. I used to use, I think it was the Premier Protein, but it had like so many. Once I started really reading the ingredients, and then I switched to Muscle Milk. And then when I really started paying attention to the ingredients list on both of those, and then I happened to come across this one, and I'm like, okay, it's sometimes it's the picking the lesser of the two evils, right? I hate to say it that way, but I'm like, okay, at least the sweetener is monk fruit. I was already using monk fruit. Oh, it also has allulose in it too. And so, yeah, so it's, again, making a better choice from the old choice, or making smart choices. And I know a lot of people had asked me about that. So I said, let me have this just to show, in case. I know Jessica had asked about it, but yeah. So anybody has questions or anything you want to discuss? Because like I said, tonight we have an open forum. Hey, Hannah. Hey, Cal.
Hey,
So
hey,
it's
sis. I just want to say, here lately, my appetite has not been what it's normally been.
Mhm.
But I do, I have been eating fruit, a lot of fruit, and I be eating salads a lot. Sometimes I skip a meal because I just don't be hungry. It's like I don't be hungry. So I just skip a meal because I'm not going to eat it if I'm not hungry. Why I'm going to stuff myself if it's not there? And that Joker milk, I'm going to go get me some because I like to have coffee. Not every day, but some days I just need that coffee because I have to be to work at 7 in the morning. And some days it's just like, hey, I need something, and I eat me a banana every day because I have to, because I'm on a potassium pill. So she wants me to eat a banana like every day. So I eat the banana. But what I'm getting ready to start doing is, like, this weekend, I'm going to get these mason jars. And I'm like, you was talking about the yogurt. I know I can't have like the berries with the little pits in them because of my diverticulitis. So I'm going to get the yogurt. I'm going to get the bag of granola, some blueberries, and some bananas, and give me the fresh peach and peel it and make me like the parfait.
Right. Yoga parfait.
And take it to work. That'd be like my breakfast. And then I seen a little hack on TikTok where the lady, she put all her ingredients for a salad in a jar and put her little dress. She made a dressing out of like olive oil, and she had like the olive oil, lemon juice, in with some more stuff she had in there, and she just poured it in there. And when she got to work the next day, she put it like in a bowl, and I was like, oh, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, the jar salads. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a great way for meal prepping. Especially when you're talking about, like, imagine you do the yogurt parfaits, right? You go ahead and make them up in advance. You make your salads up in advance. That's 2 meals out of every single day. Like, let's say you do it for the week, or at least even if it's 3 or 4 days.
Cause see, I
that's
work
2
Monday
meals
through
out.
Friday.
That's 2 meals out of the day that you don't have
Yeah.
to try to figure out what am I having. It's already done. So that goes back to the meal prepping when we talked about that. And I think it was like the very first week we did these classes, but prepping in advance, so you don't have to think about it. Like, what, I'm hungry now, what am I going to have? And sometimes when we're hungry now and we're trying to figure it out, that's when we make bad choices.
And,
So
and it's just like I said, it'll be easy for me because, like I said, I work Monday through Friday. I'm off every weekend, so I said I can get the 5 jar, 10 jars, because I'm gonna do the parfait and then do the salad. That way, if I'm hungry, I can just eat some.
So that's good. Yeah, that's a great way to meal prep for those who like, salads and yogurt. Make sure you get I would say get plain Greek yogurt. Make sure, if not, definitely make sure you don't have one of the yogurts that has a lot of sugar in it.
No, because I've been eating the Greek yogurt because I done became a fan of it. For a minute, it took me a long time to get with the taste. I was like, but I make myself eat it because I know it's better for me. Oh, and I want to say thank you for my gift.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Anybody else have any comments or questions they want to add to the conversation?
Well, today for me, hi guys, good evening,
Hannah.
everyone. So, like today, I was like in a fasting mood. My body, I wasn't feeling too hungry, and I pretty much wasn't really feeling like for nothing. It's just I had some iced tea this afternoon and a piece of a strawberry cake, which was gluten free. And this morning I had me an apple, my water, a cup of coffee, some with milk and some with no milk at all. So that's how I'm working on removing the milk from my diet. I normally use the coconut milk and stuff in my smoothie, but original milk that I put in my coffee, I slowly getting it out of the habit of putting it in my coffee. So I'm having 1 cup of coffee with milk and 1 without. Pretty much that's what I had for today. And then when I came home this afternoon, I had me some beans and some sauteed vegetables and a piece of meat, a piece of ribs. And that was it. And I feel like I ate so much. It's like my body is now taking its own turn to doing it fasting. So whenever I don't feel hungry, the major thing is for me is having a good cup of smoothie with my berries. When I have Greek yogurt, I add Greek yogurt. I put dates in my smoothie, dates and banana, blueberry, raspberry, and strawberry, and then I have that for pretty much the morning time, or in the evening if I'm not feeling too hungry. That's what I have.
That's good. And the dates are a good sweetener to keep from using other sweeteners and things like that. Dates are good, and bananas also have a nice amount of sweetness in it for the smoothies. So if you're looking for alternatives on when you're making smoothies and things like that, and you don't want to put sugars or the honeys and stuff like that in it, dates are a good thing to throw in your smoothies just because they're already naturally sweet. And if we're going to have the sugar, we want to reach for the natural sweeteners. So dates are a good source of that.
Yeah, and also the Greek yogurt, just the plain Greek yogurt with no sugar, that kind of helps to balance the sugar inside of the smoothie. We've given it a zesty moment of creaminess. So it's like it serves in 2 ways. Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, I totally agree. It took me a long time to get with plain Greek yogurt, and truth be told, if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I really just started doing the plain Greek yogurt this year, because I would do Greek yogurt, but it would be like the Chobani with the fruit at the bottom. But I was like, Carlissa, you got to get rid of the sugar. So now when I do plain Greek yogurt, even if I'm just eating the yogurt, I'll do plain Greek yogurt and drizzle a little bit of honey on it and put the fruit on top. And then it's just enough for me to taste the sweetness from the fruit, and then that little drizzle of honey. And it's way less sugar than the yogurts that come with the fruit and the sugar and the sweetener already in it. So at least then I can monitor how much sweetness and how much sugar I'm putting on it. And I didn't think I would like it that way, but I actually love it. And now that's the only way I eat my yogurt. When I eat yogurt, it's the plain Greek yogurt, drizzle a little bit of honey, put some berries on top, sprinkle it with some cinnamon, because at this point I'm putting cinnamon on everything. Cinnamon is actually good for blood sugar regulation. So I put it in my coffee. That's another thing I put in my coffee, cinnamon, and I put it on my Greek yogurt and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's great.
I do CMOS. I make my own CMOS. So when I make my CMOS, I put nutmeg, I put cinnamon, and I put a little dash of vanilla essence. And then I would either use coconut milk, or I would just put in some protein mix powder, if it's vanilla or chocolate, whatever, and then I would mix that up. Another thing I use in the morning, sometimes I will put yogurt, unsweetened yogurt at the bottom. So I put the oats first. I put like a spoon of oats, because I use a measuring bottle to a certain amount. I use one very small measure cup of oats, and then I will put the yogurt on top of it. And then I will add, if it's blueberry and raspberry, or if it's strawberry and mango or something like that on top of it. And I would put it like an overnight oatmeal. And next morning, sometimes I use that as my breakfast.
That sounds great. And here's what I love with the Greek yogurt. When we're looking for ways to get that extra protein into our diet, the way Hannah is doing it is perfect, because she's having her oatmeal, but she's like, I'm gonna just put some Greek yogurt in it. Now she's adding protein to her oatmeal. She's adding protein to her CMOS. Like, those are, when we talk about reaching our protein, I guess whatever the amount that we need for our daily intake, that's how you get it. You look for creative ways to add it to something, because some people just like, I'm like, I can't eat enough meat, or it's too much to try to get all that protein in. But if you sneak it into other things that you're already eating, like what Hannah would put in the Greek yogurt in her oatmeal, when I talk about putting cottage cheese in your scrambled eggs, look for creative ways to just add it to other little things. Protein in the coffee instead of creamer. So look for ways, and that way you'll find yourself really hitting your protein goals for the day a lot quicker, or at least getting closer to them easier, because you're sneaking that protein. You know how, like, when our kids was little and they want to eat vegetables, so you find ways to sneak vegetables into something. You got to sometimes do that for yourself, whether it's with the vegetables or whether it's with the protein or something like that. And that's a great way to do it. Anybody else? Hi, Miss Hattie. I know we had a couple of people join us, and tonight's nutrition class is just an open forum. It's a Q&A session. It is an open discussion, no specific topic. So what we've talked about so far is making smart choices. Like, even if we're out and about, what's the smart choice if you're hungry and you're not at home where you can cook your meal or prepare your meal? How can you get in smart choices? We also talked about just different ideas on, like Hannah was sharing with the protein and things like that. I showed the protein that I use in my coffee, because a lot of people have asked about it. It has, for the sweetener, instead of the artificial sweeteners, it has monk fruit and allulose as the sweeteners. Because a lot of the other ones will say sugar-free or keto-friendly, but it'll have a bunch of artificial sweeteners in it. And I hate artificial sweeteners more than I hate regular sugar, because anything that's made up in a lab, we want to stay away from it, because it's basically chemicals. We want to keep that stuff out of our body and have as much natural ingredients that come from the earth as possible. And if they're creating it in a lab, we don't want that, okay? Because our bodies are not meant to process that. That's why it's also, if we're going to talk about that, important to read labels and look for things that say non-GMO. If it does not say, if it says GMO, that means it's literally created in a lab. So don't allow the world we live in to push us on the idea of lab generated meats and lab generated this or genetically modified that, or bio. If you see on the label bioengineered, that means they created it in a lab. We should not be eating. And that's what they're going to push on us because they feel like, okay, that we can make the food quicker and faster. We don't have to wait for the animals to actually go from being a baby to being an adult cow or whatever it is. They're like literally creating this stuff in labs, and they want us to put it in our bodies. And then we wonder why lifestyle diseases and cancers are on the rise. It's because we're eating fake food, and we want to stay away from as much fake food as possible. So that's okay. That's one of my soapboxes, as you can tell. We don't do genetically modified. So look for those buzzwords on your labels. Since I think somebody I talked to recently about reading labels. Look for those buzzwords: genetically modified, bioengineered. If you see anything like that, that means it was made up in a lab. It's not real food. It's fake food. Anybody else had anything to add or question?
So one thing I have experienced was when I eat meat, chicken, beef, pork, anytime past noon, or I would say 4 or 5 o'clock, it would take quite a while to digest. And when I pretty much kind of study the amount of time the meat takes to digest, it's basically more than 10 hours. Because that's why sometimes when I used to wake up, when I burp, I used to kind of still taste the meat. And after my doctor told me about it, I started kind of researching on the amount of time it basically takes to digest, especially eating it at a later time frame of the night. So I basically, if I cannot eat my meat around a time like now, not even now, but earlier in the day, and it is not fully cooked, I don't eat it. And I would advise the group, if you want to eat meat, try not to eat meat at a later time in the day, and then you go and lay down 2-3 hours later, and you're thinking, well, the meat has digest, maybe the vegetables digest, the fruits digest, but the meat takes more hours to digest in our system, and that also can impact our digestion and our weight loss. It can prevent us from losing weight when we are trying hard to do that. But depending on the times we choose to eat meat, it could be a hindrance in us reaching our goal.
Absolutely. That is so true, Hannah. And as you were talking, I said, well, let me, because I wanted to give you the exact times. I said, let me Google that while you're saying that. And it says meat generally takes 2 to 3 hours just to leave the stomach. And it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to fully digest. However, some red meats could take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours to fully digest. So you're absolutely correct. So the earlier in the day you can eat it, the better. That's also why some people end up with indigestion or heartburn, or you don't sleep well, because that stuff is just sitting in your belly, and or at least in your digestive tract. And you're absolutely right. It can definitely affect your weight loss, and it can also affect how well you sleep at night, all those things. So definitely you kind of want to keep it light, and you want to try not to eat heavy. That's what I call it. Try not to eat heavy super late at night, because it does take time. You got to give your body enough time to digest all of that. And some things just take way longer. Yes, fruits, vegetables, things like that process a lot quicker, but meats can take like I said, on average, probably more like the white meats take 2 to 3 hours to leave the stomach, but total of 4 to 6 hours to fully digest. And some red meats can take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. So that's something to consider when you are eating and you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to eat late, or I had a late dinner. Think about when you're going to go to bed. And is that stuff going to still be sitting in your stomach? So that was really good, Hannah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything to add, or that they want to have a question about?
No.
Okay. Well, ladies, this class is only really designed to be about 30 minutes anyway. So if nobody has anything that they have a question about, we can go ahead and close out. I do want to get a group photo like we always do, ladies. So let me get my camera ready. We're going to get a group photo. And of course, you all already know, if you have questions or anything else in between time, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will be more than glad to answer any questions that you all have, okay? So group photo ready? All right, got it. All right, ladies, that's it. If you have questions, just let me know. But we're gonna go ahead and close out for the night. And you guys have you're welcome, Renee. You all have an awesome night, and I will see you soon. All right.